Hello everyone, Ladislas Maurice of The Wandering Investor. So today I'm in Phnom Penh in Cambodia and we're going to have a look at the real estate market here and to try to understand if it's interesting or not and for whom. So I've spent the past month in Cambodia going around to various cities, having a look at the real estate markets in these various cities, and it's not the first time I do this. I first came here in 2018 before I even started The Wandering Investor. And I spent a month here in Cambodia for my own personal portfolio. And back then it was just a crazy bubble. I remember after 3 days of just analyzing the market on the ground, I decided to turn my month trip into a vacation because I knew there's just nothing to be done in Cambodia. And yeah, I wasn't wrong. The market crashed in 2019. And ever since it's been going down. It would appear that the descent is slowing down. But the market is still not doing great, which is impacting the economy. So the economy is doing generally fine, but the internal economy, internal consumption is quite weak, mostly due to this property market crash. Construction is down a lot. But on the other hand, tourism is going to exceed its pre-COVID numbers, and there is a lot of manufacturing that is moving to Cambodia. So a lot of Chinese companies that want to avoid issues with the US, they're setting up bases here, manufacturing plants. Also because Cambodia has some of Southeast Asia's youngest population. So the population is a lot younger here in Cambodia than it is in Thailand, which is aging really quickly, and even younger than Vietnam as well. So we're gonna go meet Untac, my realtor here. He's helped a friend of mine make a few investments here in Phnom Penh. We're gonna have a look at 3 different products. So one is a new development, which is very affordable per square meter. I mean, the prices are fair and the design is a little wild. So we'll go see this. It's quite interesting. We'll also go check out a luxury development that offers some structured financial products, which could be interesting for some people. At least it's interesting to see what's out there in the market. And then we'll have a look at the secondary market, where there are fire sales taking place as well as bank repos. And we'll be doing all of the numbers for all of these investments. All right, so now I shall jump into a tuk-tuk and let's go meet Untac. Hey, Untac, how are you?
Good. Morning. How are you?
Good. So tell us about this crazy project.
Well, if you look at this, the whole building, one thing that stood out is the amenity on the top. You see a massive pool of 40 meters and a big gym on the sky. It's amazing. And one great thing about this project is the price, the affordability. We're looking at around 1,600 per square meter net. So this is really attractive for this project.
So about $150 per square foot. And you said also a 4-year payment plan, but we'll discuss this.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting here is, I'll ask the cameraman to come over. When Untac first showed me this development, I thought these were just kind of fake 3D renders or poor quality 3D renders. But then we went to see the showroom and this building will actually look like this. So let's go check out the showroom because I haven't seen any design like this anywhere else in the world. Yeah. And then we'll do all the numbers, all that in detail.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, so look, the first time I saw this, I felt like I was being visually assaulted. I still don't know if the assault felt good or not. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it was definitely some sort of assault. I think I might enjoy it. I think I might enjoy it. But this is, what's up with the bathroom? Is this a Cambodian thing or is this just a weird thing?
It's not. It's even Cambodian. This is a very intimate thing. You can see that everywhere you can see through. Yeah. But apparently it's a very trendy thing.
Yeah, you don't see this in
people in like
Europe.
it, yeah.
You don't see this in America. Okay, cool. So what's really interesting about this here is the payment plan. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the very interesting things about this project is the payment plan. For this particular unit, we're looking at just under 60,000. The first payment is 20% down, so we're looking at around 12,000. And then we pay 1% over a period of 40 to 45 months. And then we pay the rest 35% or 40% toward the end. And for young Cambodian who don't have that last payment of the 35-40%, you can go to the bank at this point because the project is already complete and you can potentially get that loan. So
Cool. So great payment terms. The building is visually unique and the amenities are really nice. Tell us about the neighborhood, Russian market.
Russian market, to me, I would say that a tier 2 or it's a B. BKK1 currently is the prime area where all the business and stuff are, although it's a bit more expensive. So for expat who live here in the long term, they might looking at something that are a bit cheaper. Russian market is a perfect location because there's small cafes, small street markets, and very walkable neighborhood. And that's the area where I'm currently living. It's a really nice neighborhood.
So I wrote a whole article on the real estate market in Phnom Penh, the neighborhoods that are interesting, the neighborhoods you should avoid, where all the infrastructure is being developed because the government's building a whole bunch of bridges and highways and airport. I mean, there's a lot going on in Phnom Penh. So there's a link below to the article. So you say expats, but it's not, this building will not get filled with expats.
Yeah, actually this project, the local response to this project are significant. I think this project is already over 60% Cambodian buying into this already.
So local market.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about the rental yields. So let's do the numbers. So the price point is after the discount, you said about $60,000.
Yeah, just under,
So I buy this, I pay over 4 years. Then I have some, closing costs, roughly how much?
Closing costs, we're looking at around 3,000. Let's say all of that.
Cool. And this changes a lot because there's a stamp duty tax, but this year you don't have to pay it, but because you can only register it later, it's hard to tell. So we're just going with 5%, but it's maybe you'll have to pay it, maybe you won't. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, the government keep pushing it.
Yeah.
So we don't have to enforce that now. Yeah.
What if I wanted this exact furniture package and look and feel? How much would I have to pay?
We're looking at roughly 5,000 for this particular unit.
So all in, after 4 years, roughly $68,000. How much of rental income could I expect on a monthly basis from this?
I'll say very conservatively 450 to 550.
Okay, so let's use 450 in the numbers.
Yeah.
What about the occupancy rate? Because there's oversupply in the market of condos for rent. It's not necessarily easy to find tenants.
Yeah.
What would be your estimate in terms of the occupancy rate?
I'll say 70-80% occupancy rate.
And I think that's fair because the reality is construction has cratered in Phnom Penh. So by the time this building gets inaugurated in 4 years' time, there won't be that much new product on the market anymore. So I'm pretty sure that people will flock to the latest new tower, and for at least a few years, the occupancy rate will be better. In the meantime, there's still urbanization going on. It's really strong here in Cambodia. Can you tell us a little bit about urbanization?
Yeah.
And we'll continue with the numbers, but yeah, I think this is important because I think there will be demand for affordable luxury products in the long run here in the city.
Yeah. One of the main reasons that a lot of international investors invest here in Phnom Penh and Cambodia in particular, because the urbanization rate here are still very low. We're looking at around 22-24%. Compared to Thailand, it's already over 50%. So looking at that trends alone, people are going to keep moving to the city, like Phnom Penh and many other cities around Cambodia. So because of that, like you said earlier, it's a bit oversupply. I agree and not agree at the same time, because if we're growing at the same rate of urbanization as Thailand, we're going to be undersupply in the next, 5 years. So if you're looking short term, yes, right now it's oversupply, but if you're looking a bit longer, middle term and long term, I think it's still a lot of room to grow here.
There are all these developers that came into the market because we went to see a number of developments together, and you see these products and the layouts of the apartments are weird, the amenities are weird. There's just there was no studies were done, and then people buy these things and then wonder why they can't rent them out. This building, generally speaking, the layouts make sense.
Yeah.
So sure, there's oversupply in a lot of segments, but in other segments, it's actually fine. So you really need to choose the right building. It comes down to the building and the right neighborhood. And if you play your cards right, you can actually get some pretty decent occupancy rates. But yeah, some buildings are 60, 70% empty. And others, you go ask, do you have anything to rent? And it'll be a big tower, and they'll just say, oh, we have 2 units.
Yeah.
So it really depends. So just running and saying, oh, there's oversupply, yes, but no.
Yeah.
You know.
At the same time, depend on the neighborhood, depend on the project, really.
Cool. So all right. So I'm renting this out for $450 a month. What's the HOA, the service charges roughly?
The management fee, we're looking at around $1 per square meter. So in this particular unit, we're looking at around $50, say give or take. And then for the agent who find the client for you, usually they take 1 month out of whatever 1 year contract that you are renting.
Okay. So 75% of a month if we're running with an assumption of 75% occupancy.
Yeah.
Then there's property management if you choose to have a property manager. A little bit of money for maintenance, etc.
Yeah.
Property tax would be how much here?
The property tax here, it's very low. It's 0.1%, and it would be less than $100 per year.
Yeah, so when you do all of the numbers, you end up with a net yield of about 3.5% in 4 years' time from now. Look, I think these numbers are pretty conservative. Mm-hmm. I would definitely expect to be making more from it if I were to buy this. Also, I would expect capital gains. So why? One, because supply is going to decrease over the years. We're seeing less construction starts. And 2, when you compare with the market, because we went to see a lot of different products, a lot of different buildings, and generally speaking, when you do the ROI numbers, you end up at between 1.5% and 2% net after all expenses using the same formula. Here, this one, it's more like 3.5%. So something has to give, right? And I think it's rather going to be capital gains as the construction advances. But, you know, we're looking at a project that's priced attractively, that has a 4-year payment plan in a city with a lot of unfinished buildings and developers that are going bankrupt. So there's inherent developer risk. So what makes you comfortable regarding this specific developer?
So if you check the background of the developer, these are the 8 projects. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 already complete, and there's 6 and 7 has been selling like cupcake, because the same reason as this project is the payment plan and the affordability, and they accept crypto. So this some of the really interesting plan for this project.
So 6 is almost complete, 7 they're building, this is number 8, and this is pre-construction.
Yeah, this is pre-construction.
So look, you know, a lot of Westerners will say, oh, you know, ask my lawyer to do the due diligence on the developer, ask for the balance sheet. I mean, sure, you can do that, and probably it says the developer doesn't have any bank loans. But people need to understand that when you invest in Chinese developments, the loans aren't necessarily visible in the books because there's a lot of Chinese shadow lending going on. So you never really know. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. You never really know. You just have to look at the track record. The track record good is here. This is generally how you minimize your risk in markets like this. It's just things operate differently here.
Yeah, I'll totally agree with that.
And crypto. You can pay all of this using crypto. If you're buying normally, payment plan using crypto, then you can easily open a non-CRS bank account, which means no information sharing as things stand with other governments. So from a privacy point of view, investing in Cambodia also makes a lot of sense for people that have, you know, privacy concerns. Cool. Okay, so this is the case for this apartment. We went to a lot of different developments, and this is the one that we found is definitely the best in terms of opportunity. Now we're going to go check out a luxury building, and there it's some weird odd financial instrument, but that somehow makes sense, and where the returns are quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then we'll check out the secondary market.
Yeah, let's
right.
go and check it out.
Let's go.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Nice to see you.
How you doing, Chloe?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right, let me walk you through the overall development.
Yeah.
First, at the base we get 4 floors of commercial centers. In the basement we get 2 floor, 400 parking space. And then here you get the residential tower and the office tower. At the top of the office tower, you will get an ISG vignette hotel, 50 suites, most of them with private pool. And then 2 floors of private club.
So to contextualize, this is the most luxurious tower being built in Phnom Penh right now.
This is the most luxurious tower now. There is no competitor in both the segments for the office tower and the residential. The residential tower will be the lowest density per square meter. You get only big units with a lot of space, and every floor you only have 3 to 4 neighbors. It's really... And for the office tower, it will be the only LEED Gold, Grade A, STG compliant office tower where you can own. There is actually one other LEED Gold tower, but you cannot own anything in it.
Yeah. So the residential side, you said it's a prime area. How is that compared to Bangkok for this project in particular?
So here we are on Notre-Dame Boulevard.
Yeah.
So this is our Champs-Élysées. Very French, but...
Yeah.
And we are like 500 meters from the Independence Monument. So you are really in the prime location, plus you are in the heart of the old city. You are very near to the National Museum, to the Royal Palace. Like this city center, like sometimes city extend one direction or another,
Yeah.
but the city center of Phnom Penh will always be this part.
Yeah. What price per square meter are we looking at for this?
So you're 3,000 to 4,000 per square meter. If you compare to Bangkok, it's less than half for the equivalent in terms of location and level of quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the big scheme of things, if you look at the kind of markets all over the world, $3,500 per square meter for prime. Grade A, I mean, this is essentially Singapore level
Singapore
building,
grade
correct? It's not, because here you need to understand, there are many different grades of build quality. So the one that we saw right before was medium. It wasn't low, it was medium. Maybe medium a bit better than medium. This is high end. And then you go to other buildings, most notably my Airbnb right now, which I didn't know when I booked. It looks great, but then you enter and then it's just my apartment smells like a gutter. You know, these things happen when you deal with like really cheap Chinese developers. So yeah, this I assume would not smell like gutter, right?
No, it's a whole other level. And it's very consistent in every part. Like all elevators are assisted by AI. You get an average waiting time of 45 seconds because there is nothing less bothering than waiting for an elevator. And this is the kind of thing that ensure quality. Like you can say that you have qualities, but there is like actually technical fact about the material used and the tech that is used that is actually a good guarantee.
I'll just jump in there. I don't know what the rental yields would be here. Is there a rental market for this?
So there is definitely a rental market. So in the last years, I get many times this question like, oh no, people work from home, blah, blah, blah. Here you are also in another level. Like this will be a landmark. On my card, my Visa card, there is the skyline of Phnom Penh. Mm-hmm. So there is the Royal Palace, there is the Independence Monument, and there is the Untac Tower. I can bet that in a few years, when this is out, this will be a landmark for us.
For your Visa card?
So, yes, I will get a new Visa card with it. No, the thing is that there will be always a need for an office. I think the market trend is clear. There is less need of office in general, but you will want to have an office on Notre-Dame. And we can see from the tenant that bought, we get tenants that have bought for themselves floor or units, and that will be their flagship. So their flagship office, their head office. So they will be.
I mean, the vacancy rates are extremely high in the office market right now in Phnom Penh, and there's a few grade A, not as nice, but there's still a few grade A buildings being built here. So isn't there the risk of oversupply?
So I don't think there is a risk of oversupply. We allocated few floors with fixed return. So we offer for 5 years a return of 8% net, which is net of common fees REI and net of tax in Cambodia. So it's really the return that you're gonna have. You know, there is no small deduction that no one likes. So you get 8% fixed for the first 5 years. It's paid quarterly. And the good side of it is that you, as an investor, you will see how the market goes. Because 5 years after the opening of the tower, you don't have the up and down and the fixing and the installation. You know, it's a smooth sailing. So you will know exactly how much you will earn and how much you can expect to earn. So at the end of the 5 years, you have a buyback option, or you can keep your unit. This is a strata title, so it's full ownership. So you can keep owning it, you can put it to rent, use it for your own rules, it's yours. You can choose what to do with it. But you have this buyback option at 110%.
Of the initial purchase price?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, say if I gotta buy the office space without a guaranteed buyback, would that be cheaper than
It's actually the same price.
the same price?
No, we don't inflate the price to offer the guaranteed return.
Yeah, because we see this a lot in the market where they
Yeah.
do this again.
Same, the fact that there is only 8 floors in guaranteed rental is also a good guarantee.
Yeah.
Because
So only 8 floors have this offer.
only 8 floors, there is 44 floor, only 8 floors offer the special offer.
Which reduces developer risk in many ways, in the sense that if they did this on the whole building and then the market didn't do too well and then there was a guaranteed buyback at 110%, I mean, the developer would go bankrupt pretty quickly. So just on 8 floors, so you're limiting this. Okay.
Our agency are focusing on the residential side. We specialize on that. We're not specialized on the commercial side. But looking at this and see how Chloe presented, it looked to me like it's a financial product. The number looked interesting.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, as long as the developer doesn't go bust, it's an easy 10% a year for 5 years. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. And then there's potential upside for sure at these prices. It's not outrageous in the big scheme of things. You have limited downside with all these guarantees. You just need to make sure the developer, you just need to make sure Chloe doesn't run away with the money, essentially.
I won't. That's tempting, that you said it like that. No, and you definitely have a capital gain potential way bigger than the 10%. We talked about the location, but this tower going to be iconic also because of the structure. I'm really happy that this tower is like this in Cambodia because it's very innovative. Outside of all the AI and technology used, the design itself, you see this, it's Sky Village, and there is 6 in total all around the tower. So instead of...
Cameraman, come here.
Yeah, look,
It's a B-roll.
there is a lot of greenery and there is common space for everyone, which is very interesting because all of us, one time in our life at least, have been in an office tower where you have to go down 40 floors or 70 floors to finally go outside. So these are actually community nodes. So you can connect with people that are not in your office, that are not your colleagues by essence, and that is a great quality in a person in an office tower. So everyone can go they are all 4 to 6 floors away from each other. So you have this community node. You can connect with people, and this is what people are expecting now in an office tower, which means that this office tower will not grow old as quickly as many office tower. So as an investor, this is very interesting. You're investing with gain value, you are in a prime location, and you have a tower that stands out and that doesn't grow old that quickly.
Okay, cool. All right. I think the investment thesis is clear for this, and it'll be on your debit card. So this is really important. Okay, fantastic. So thank you, Chloe.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for showing us around.
And now, Untac, you're going to take us to check out secondary market?
Yeah,
All right, fantastic.
let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, so there's a slight delay with the secondary market viewing, so we decided to go for a nice burger together with a cameraman. Look, Asian food is good, but once in a while, nothing beats getting some proper American grub.
It's interesting how if you look here in the middle of Phnom Penh in BKK1, we have these chickens and look like a little countryside in the middle of Phnom Penh. And this is, we're talking around 5 million worth of
Land.
of land here.
Yeah, so that's crazy. It's about, like, how much per square meter roughly for land in this neighborhood?
Between 7 and say 9,000 per square meter here land.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So this man living in this very modest house with his chickens and his old dogs
Yeah.
and his motorcycle
Yeah.
is worth $5 million.
Yeah,
All right. Humble man.
very humble man. Very nice. You can't really see anything like this in the middle of Phnom Penh.
Cool, so it's in this building, right?
Yeah, so this is the project we're gonna go and check out. Potentially it's a fire sale, it's an urgent sale, so
Okay.
we could potentially get 15 or even more.
Okay. Yeah, I think people need to understand here in Cambodia, everything is very negotiable. There is a culture in a lot of Asian countries of being able to negotiate quite a lot for real estate, much more so than in Western countries. So this building is a little old, no?
Yes, it's been, the completion, it's over 10 years, I
Okay.
believe, yes.
All right, so again, important to understand, we're in very new countries where there's a lot of new construction, and a building that is 10 years old is considered to be old. So I'm looking at my European followers here particularly. You need to really take into account the age of a building when you invest in new markets like this, because the depreciation goes a lot faster than in Europe. Americans will be more familiar with this, but for Europeans it's a bit more of a novel concept.
Yeah, as you walk through this project, you will see that the maintenance actually not too bad comparing how old the building is.
Yeah. We did the viewing yesterday because we're looking at a bunch of apartments, etc., and we found that this one is a decent example, and it's a fire sale. The maintenance is quite good, which is not always the case. Actually, in most cases, the maintenance is quite bad.
Yeah. For example, the place you stay at.
Yeah. Yeah, the place I stay at, yeah.
You're so
How are you?
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you. Cool, so what's the price point?
The price is 165,000. So per square meter is about 1,875.
Net square meters or
Net
gross?
area.
Net area, okay, really important.
So obviously, if you observe the place, it looked like it's been vacant for a while, and because of that, I think potentially for the price we could push for 15 or even more than the asking price. So,
Yeah, very, very negotiable. When I see something like this, very
Yeah.
negotiable. Okay, so we're seeing it's starting to look a little old. It hasn't seen a renovation since the owners essentially bought it 12 years ago.
Yeah.
The maintenance of the building is good. The location is AAA.
Yeah.
So I think this is important when we compare with the first one with the crazy design.
Yeah.
The location of this one is better.
Yeah.
Price per square meter after discount, it'll be maybe this a little cheaper.
Yeah.
But it would need a renovation,
Yeah.
right? So what would be your approach in terms of the renovation? What would you
So
do?
this unit, let's say, if we can come in and aggressively ask for 20 or even more, and if we can get that discount, we basically use that money for renovation to a grade materials and redone, and that would bump the rental price.
Okay, so essentially 165 is the price as is.
Yes.
You negotiate hard, and then you put the discount that you get, you just put that into doing a total renovation.
Yeah.
And then you end up for a relatively similar price to the first one.
Yeah.
A bit more expensive per square meter.
Yeah.
You end up with a much better location,
Yeah.
but a bit of an older building.
Yeah.
So people need to make the decision. And then here you need the money up front. There you have 4 years to pay.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. This one you need all capital up front.
Yeah, okay. You can also pay with crypto, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So here essentially the way it works is you can do crypto through peer-to-peer, or you just go to the Chinese dudes. Last week I went to a Chinese exchange just out of intellectual curiosity. I went there, I asked the guy, hey, I have $500,000 USDT. I'd like to exchange it into physical cash USD. What's your fee and how long do you need to gather the cash? He said, before any sort of negotiation, 1%, 3 hours. Oh. All right, so you can just go and then walk away with a duffel bag of $495,000 after the fee, and then you can just go buy any real estate here in Cambodia. So this, you could operate this way if you wanted to buy something like this, and then you can get a local bank account, non-CRS, so no information sharing, no automatic information sharing, and then collect your rental income this way. So you do property management as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the occupancy rate in this building?
In this building, we can say more than 80%. Yes,
cool.
Right.
Yeah. We can confirm we were walking around the whole building yesterday and it's busy.
Yeah.
Again, everything is very building dependent in Phnom Penh. You'll go to the building next door and the occupancy rate might be just 35%. So this building has a decent reputation. Cool. And the amenities?
Amenity, we have a swimming pool, we have gym, we have sauna and kid pool, we have mart as well.
Okay, cool, fantastic. Great, so what Untac and I are gonna do, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna do all the ROI numbers in terms of rental income, etc., and then compare it with the other propositions so that we can see off-plan and then we can see secondary market as well. How often do you come across, both of you, because you're both agents, how often do you come across fire sales and bank repos?
So for me personally, I come across this quite often, but generally speaking, they will say 10 to 20% below market price, but once in a while you get things down more. You can get up to 30, even 40%. But this kind of deal, it's come on the market within hours and it's gone. So if you're looking to get something like this, you need to have cash ready or have crypto ready. Just send 3 hours, get that cash and get it done.
And important to note, you can buy entirely remotely in Cambodia.
Yes.
I don't know how safe it is long term, but at least to buy, it's pretty safe. You can buy remotely with the notary public with a video call and do everything this way. So you don't need to deal with notarizations back home, apostilles, none of that. You just do a video purchase. I'd be a bit more worried about video sales, especially with AI. Yeah. But with video purchases, I'd be less worried.
Yeah, just to add on that, so we can do the video call purchasing, but still the papers and stuff will send through DHS, the real paper and stuff. So the real paper will need to travel in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, good to know. I missed that. Cool. So we're going to go through the numbers now. Untac and I were discussing. And you had some thoughts you wanted to share on this, on the renovation here? Yeah,
absolutely. So as we walk through, we've been discussing and talking, with this particular unit. If, say, in a scenario that we push for 20% discount, at first we're thinking maybe we should use that 20% to really make it look great. Basically do all the touch-up, potentially change all the furniture and stuff to a grade, A+ grade. But then we realized that's probably doesn't make sense because the building is quite old already and stuff. So I think potentially if we can push for 20 or even 25%, we just put 10% on the renovation, a little touch-up and make up, and then just keep the other cash, and then just rent it on a lower yield.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You don't want to have a unit that's completely new, like latest everything in a building that's a little old.
Yeah.
Especially because it's not a historical building. So it's just more reasonable to have, a nice unit in a nice building rather than a fantastic unit and just a nice building that's starting to become a little old. So it's more reasonable. Yeah. Cool. So let's say we can negotiate it down 25%,
Yeah.
which is not impossible in this market. I know it sounds insane,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible in this market.
Yeah.
We put 10,000 back into furniture, touch-ups.
Touch up. Yeah.
Closing costs are approximate, again, because they're changing the laws and the regulations, and right now no one really knows.
Yeah.
So we'll just put 4,000 to, it's a fair estimate. What do you think the monthly rent would be once we put 10,000 back into this unit?
Conservatively, I would put it anywhere between 900 to 1,000.
Cool.
Conservatively, yeah.
All right, let's go with 900.
Yeah.
What would be your estimated occupancy rate?
70, 80%.
Cool. The guy said 80% occupancy.
Yeah.
The building's quite full, but yeah, let's stick to 70.
Yeah.
And again, important in this market, there's generally higher occupancy for 1 bedrooms than for studios and 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So remember that. And then, yeah, same numbers for property management, finding tenants, service charges for the building, etc.
Yeah.
So property tax, $150 a year, a bit of maintenance. So essentially, an investor would get 2% net yield, net after all expenses, after negotiating a 25% discount and putting 10K back into this unit. Is this typical of this market?
Yes, it is typical. And if you compare, like, if you buy something like this, you won't expect appreciation to go as much as, pre-construction, where potentially the appreciation rate could be a lot higher, because this is already a bit, outdated in a sense.
So, it's an interesting market in the sense that the market's not doing good. There are fire sales happening.
Yeah.
And even the fire sales are not as interesting as some of the new builds. Like the one we saw, the first one, the one that was very visually loud.
Yeah.
We were getting to 3.5% net yield, which is a lot more. We have 4 years to pay it. Here it's all up front.
Yeah.
Sure, there's developer risk, but then you'll have a new unit. So it just makes more sense to go for the primary market here.
Yeah.
With the right developers, because if you go for the wrong developer, then you'll lose all of your capital.
Yeah.
But do you find better deals on the secondary market as well than this?
Yeah, I would say it's really come out like in the case of one of the projects that we've been looking at before you arrive, that was 40% below market value. And that's something that potentially could be good for the cash flow and rental yield, but stuff like that, you need to be cash ready.
Yeah.
If you want to get into this.
Yeah, we were communicating before I came to Cambodia, and then you sent me this listing. It was really cheap.
Yeah.
But then 3 days later it was sold. So these deals do happen, and again, you can do it remotely. So
yeah.
Look, I think this is a pretty decent overview of the market here. Look, it's pretty slow. It's absolutely a buyer's market. People are very negative, but at the same time, prices aren't crashing, because when you look at the Cambodian middle and upper class, all they do is invest in real estate. So, there's an inherent support in the market. Sure, there are bank repos and these things happening here and there, but like the only asset class, literally, that people are investing in Cambodia is land, it's homes, it's condos. That's it. So there's just a natural limit to the downside in terms of how low this market can go.
Yeah.
And it's a trend that you see in a lot of Asia, particularly here, because the financial markets are so undeveloped. So people just need to understand, us as Westerners, we're often very heavily focused on cash flow. In this part of the world, cash flow is less important for investors, and it's more about capital gains.
Appreciation, yeah.
So, again, the first one was quite interesting because it had both cash flow, good credit terms, a gentrifying neighborhood. It had a good potential for capital appreciation. And the second one that we saw, you and I we don't really know much about the office space.
Yeah.
We're told, hey, it's going to be the best office space, and this no, I don't know. But just the financial aspect of it with a buyback guarantee and the rental guarantee was quite interesting. That's personally the only way I would play that, because trying to predict office space stuff, the market 2-3 years from now in Cambodia. I mean, that's just a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Cool, fantastic. Look, I wrote a whole article on the real estate market here in Phnom Penh, the neighborhoods to look into, the neighborhoods to avoid, some things you should know about how to buy real estate, because you can buy in your own name, you can use a trust. There's a whole bunch of different structures. You have to be careful. Some of them are quite dangerous, but they're still being pitched to foreigners. So that's all there in detail.
Yeah.
And Untac, you can help foreign investors with all their investment objectives here and in Siem Reap, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. So fantastic. So there's a link below, and you can get in touch with Untac. Untac, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a great time here.
Make sure to download my free ebook, 12 Mistakes to Avoid When Investing in International Real Estate, which you can find on my website, linked below. And feel free to follow me on Instagram @TheWandering Investor. I look forward to hearing from you.